Hey guys, we had a very big Dragon Ball Sparking Zero reveal at the Summer Games Fest earlier today, and we had a lot of new information come out after the trailer dropped. The official Dragon Ball Games social media account dropped a bunch of stuff. We now have full information essentially on the different editions of the game. So I have a bunch of tabs pulled up and just wanted to go through some of what we are going to be getting as part of the different editions of the game. Console stuff like that. We have Steam. Obviously, the game is releasing on Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and then also Steam. So I'm going to go through some of the information that we received today, just so that we're all on the same page. First thing, I just wanted to pull up this main visual. This is going to be the box art for the game. I think it does look very good. So it's obviously more of a super themed box art, which makes a lot of sense. Up until this point, obviously the last edition in I guess technically the Sparking / Budokai Tenkaichi series was a very long time ago before Super even existed. So this is the first I guess, installment in the series that has super representation. So we have Evolution Blue Vegeta, UI Goku, Sword Hope Trunks, Full Power Jiren, Broly, and then Angel Final Form Frieza. Sure. I mean, I guess Frieza does sell. I guess that's why they put him on here. But I was kind of thinking they would probably either put Rose or Fusion Zamasu on there. But yeah, we got Final Form Angel Frieza on the box. Nice. All right, so that's that. I'm going to go through some of these screenshots that we have here. We have some editions of the game. So we're going to come back to this, I think, at the end of the video, because this is simply the pre-order bonus. This is not tied to any edition. As long as you pre-order the game, whether it's digitally or I think the physical copy as well, you are going to gain access to these. They call this 6 characters because technically the game treats each form as its own character. Plus this one playable character over here, which is a question mark for the time being. I'm going to revisit this at the end of the video, and I will give some thoughts on who I think this could be. But basically, it's just Broly movie stuff for these 6 characters, right? It's every form of Gogeta and every form of... Well, technically, it's not every form of Broly, because this is Fury / Wrathful Broly, Super Saiyan Broly, and then Super Saiyan Full Power Broly. They don't have like just the normal base form Broly in here, but it's basically all the important forms of Broly and Gogeta from the Broly movie. So again, this is simply just the pre-order bonus. You do not have to pay any additional fees for this this bonus. As long as you pre-order the game, you get this. And then, of course, we have the different versions, PS5, Xbox, and PC, although PC is certainly not going to have any kind of... I don't think it'll have a physical copy, but yeah. All right, so as also you'll see, they did announce that the release date is going to be October 11th, 2024, which I'll talk a little bit more about later as well. So here are the different editions. And by the way, I'm also going to talk about the Japanese versions as well, because they're actually, believe it or not, I know, shocking, there are a few differences between the versions coming out, in Europe and the US as opposed to Japan. I think Japan probably has a few unique things with their editions, so I'll go over those differences as well. I did look into this a bit, before I started recording, just so I could familiarize myself with what was exactly different. So there are 3 editions of the game here. Remember, this is the digital edition. These are all digital editions. These are not, collector's editions. The collector's edition is going to be a separate package entirely. So these are the digital editions. We have the standard edition, which is just the full game. That is it. Doesn't come with any additional perks, no season pass, none of that stuff. Then we have these 2 editions over here. We have the deluxe edition and the ultimate edition. So the deluxe edition is kind of like the mid-tier version, the mid-tier edition. And then the ultimate edition is, as it says, the ultimate edition. Like, that's the highest tier digital version of the game. So the deluxe edition is going to come with 3 days early access, and it is also going to come with the season pass. So you're going to be getting access to DLC 1, 2, and 3, which we actually do know now. I think I have a bigger image of this. Where is it? Right here. Let me move this over because you can see the DLC a little bit better here. The Ultimate Edition, I guess we'll talk about the Ultimate Edition in a second, but the DLC here, DLC 1, 2, and 3, we do now know that these DLC packs in some way or form are going to include characters from Dragon Ball Daima as well as Dragon Ball Super Superhero. So they have the Gammas on here. That's confirmation that both Gamma 1 and 2 will be included in these DLC packs. Which DLC pack they'll be included in, we don't know, but as long as you buy the Deluxe Edition or the Ultimate Edition, you'll gain access to the Season Pass, which will actually give you early access to the DLC packs, and also just all the DLC pack content when it comes out. And then also you will gain access to Shenron, which I'm assuming is just going to get you some free stuff in game when you summon him. So that's the deluxe edition. Now, the main difference between the Ultimate Edition and the deluxe edition is the content on the bottom of the screen, which I should be able to pull up here separately. On the right side, you'll see the main stuff that you're going to be getting from the Ultimate Edition. Looks like the Ultimate Edition is going to give you the Ultimate Upgrade Pack, which provides you with a super outfit for Goku, costume with power pole. By the way, we actually did get confirmation that characters will be able to do different like super attacks and mechanics and abilities depending on the costume they're using, which is a very, very interesting concept, because it means that, you know, we have tons and tons of characters that are going to be in this game. If you can further customize those characters to have different moves and abilities depending on what outfit they have, that opens up a lot of customization. So that is interesting. I'm kind of looking forward to see how that how expansive that is when the game gets, you know, rolled out here. But there is an emote voice set. Toxicity. I could toxicity from the emotes. I could already see that happening. One customization item. It looks like that's like a Hercule belt or something. I don't know. Maybe it's this one. I'm not exactly sure. No, these are the player backgrounds. I'm not. Yeah, we'll see. That's probably a way to customize characters, like different mechanics, stuff like that from like the old Budokai games. Then we have 2 player card backgrounds, which I'm assuming like when you're playing online, this is what's going to be visible on your profile. I'm assuming. We'll have to wait and see. And then there is the Ultimate Edition bonus to summon Super Shenron, which, again, we don't really have much information about what this is, but they make it sound pretty cool, because Super Shenron is obviously just a better version of Shenron. So I guess we'll see what that ends up giving us. I assume you can unlock some characters with him or whatever the case is, but those are the digital editions of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero for the West. Then we also have the physical edition. This is the collector's edition. So this is, once again, separate from the digital editions. This is separate from the deluxe edition, separate from the ultimate edition. This is the premium collector's edition, which is going to give you everything that you would have gotten in the ultimate edition. You can see all the bonuses here. We have the season pass, we have the ultimate edition bonuses. So everything is included here. You get the pre-order bonus as well, but you're also going to be getting a bunch of physical goods as well, such as the diorama featuring UI Goku and Broly. This is kind of interesting because they did heavily emphasize throughout the trailer today that this game is going to be heavily exploring a lot of what-if scenarios, which is, you know, it's consistent with previous installments in the Budokai Tenkaichi series, so that's, you know, not unexpected, but I was a bit surprised as to how much they spent covering the what-if scenarios in this trailer. This is probably going to end up being one of those scenarios. Like during the Broly movie, instead of Goku and Vegeta fusing, what if Goku goes UI instead of, you know, Gogeta Blue beating Broly up? Goku goes UI and beats Broly up instead. Like, I don't know, that could be a thing here. That's why they made this like this, maybe? I'm not sure. So that's going to be included. We're going to get some cards for the Dragon Ball Fusion World game as well. And then we're going to get a steelbook as well as some bookmarks. Awesome. So by the way, before we get into like the Japanese side of things, I will say that the bookmarks are actually exclusive to the West version of the collector's edition. These do not appear in the Japanese. You guys are getting treated well on the international bookmarks. These are not included in the Japanese version, but we will get over to the Japanese version in a second. So like I said, I am going to be purchasing some of the Japanese stuff over here because that's where I live. So on this website, by the way, I tried to pull up I think it was both the US and the European Bandai site to look at and compare more easily some of the information, but it actually redirects me. It redirects me automatically to the Japanese site, so I can't actually pull up the European site or the US site because it just automatically redirects me here. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do this in like a more, I guess, organized manner, but I do have the Japanese site pulled up. We have 2 different types of additions to the game in terms of physicality. We have the downloadable version, which is the digital version, and then we have the package version, which is the hard copy version. So there are actually very small differences between the digital version of the Japanese stuff and the Western versions. So let me see if I can figure out where this is. I think might as well pull this up in a different tab here. Well, I mean, you guys should be able to see this anyway. So if we just zoom in a little bit here, this is the so actually there's 4 versions for the Japanese digital version. There's the normal version of the game, which is going to get you the same pre-release bonuses that we looked at for the Western version. That's going to get you these 6 characters, as well as the playable character that they're not going to be revealing yet. There's the deluxe edition, which is the same exact thing we talked about for the West. It's the same stuff and everything like that. There's the ultimate version, which we talked about, everything that you get in the deluxe version, plus some of the perks for, like, you know, costumes and emotes or whatever. And then there is this 4th version, which is not available in the West. This is called the Sound Ultimate Edition. Now, the only difference between this edition and the regular Ultimate Edition is this is going to also provide you with the anime song and BGM packs. There's 2 anime song and BGM packs, both containing 11 tracks each, for a total of 22 tracks. And there is going to be a bundle on the JP side, the Japan side, that does give you this, both of these sound packs with the Ultimate Edition. Whereas with the US and European Ultimate Edition, it doesn't actually provide you with the soundtracks, but we do have confirmation that you're going to be able to purchase separately these same, well, I don't know if they're exactly the same. Well, there's probably some licensing thing, which is why this is even a difference with this, but there are going to be separate anime and BGM sound packs that you can purchase in the US and Europe for the Western versions of the game, but for whatever reason they aren't including the sound packs in the the Ultimate Edition for the Western game, as opposed to, like, Japan is including. I'm not sure why they're doing that. Again, it's probably something to do with licensing and country law, stuff like that, but that's why there is an extra edition of the game in Japan as opposed to the US and Europe. So this is probably the version I'm going to be getting, just to have access to everything. And then this is probably one of the bigger differences. I mean, I could see people getting a little bit upset about this, to be honest. This is the Japanese collector edition. There's actually 2 levels to the collector's edition in Japan. There is the normal, this is the special edition, the special collector's edition, and then there's the super special collector's edition. So you can see that there's a little bit of a difference between what they're offering in the Japanese collector's edition versus, let me see if I can just put these side by side. This is the West collector's edition. We went through the stuff in here already. So for this one in Japan, you're going to be getting all of the same content you'd be getting in the Sound Ultimate Edition. But it is also going to be including they call this a character fine graph. This is basically just like a very high quality image of the main box art of the game. It's framed. It's like it comes with its own serial number, so they're only going to be making a certain amount of these. So that's going to be included here. There's going to be an acrylic diagram, is what this says down here, an original acrylic diagram. This is basically going to be like one of those like 2-dimensional, like plasticky kind of diagram. I don't think it's going to be anything insane. We'll have to wait and see. They haven't shown us what it looks like yet. And then there's going to be a pin set over here as well. We're also going to get access to the Steelbook. There's also going to be the Fusion World cards. Of course, we're going to get the game. And then there is the online store exclusive stuff as well, which is going to be a poster. And then there's going to be a flight tag. I assume that's like for luggage or something. I'm not entirely sure, but that's what this is. This is the Special Collector's Edition. Then here's the Super Special Collector's Edition. The only difference that I could tell between the regular Collector's Edition and the Super Special Collector's Edition is that the Super Special Collector's Edition does give us access to the diorama that we're going to be getting on the Western Edition. The Western Edition gives us this. So the differences between like this Japanese Super Special Collector's Edition and the Western Collector's Edition is the Western Collector's Edition, you're going to be getting these bookmarks. And on the Japan side, you're going to be getting the pin set, you're going to be getting the acrylic diagram, and you're going to be getting the like this like high quality framed serial numbered image of the main art, as well as like a poster and some like flight tags, stuff for your luggage or whatever. And then the digital version is, and then the this collector's edition is also going to be including the BGM and anime song tracks in this as well. The only difference as well in terms of price is this is significantly more expensive than the Western Collector's Edition. This is about 40,000 yen, which I think if you do the math in terms of US dollars right now, comes out to probably around like 260, 270, which is a lot. I mean, I think this is around 200 US dollars before shipping. This is about, I would say, $60 to $70 more expensive than the Western version, but you are getting a decent amount more stuff here. And there's two versions of the Collector's Edition in Japan. So I can see people getting a little bit upset about this. Obviously, you know, there's always some priority given, you know, to the Japanese audience for that's how things go here. But that's basically the summary of the differences between the editions of the game. I also wanted to quickly go through some of the specs that we have for the game itself. This is the Japanese site post. Again, I unfortunately cannot access the English, European, or US website, so we're going to go through the Japanese stuff here. Just quickly looking through this. Oh yeah, one thing I did want to also talk about real quick is the release day. So if you guys remember, it does say on the US and European versions of the game, they will be releasing on October 11th. And on the Japan version of the game, this is actually a little bit weird to me. Let me see. Can I see where this is? Yeah, the game drops on the 10th of October, which seems a little backwards to me because Japan is already ahead of the US and Europe in terms of time zones. So Japan, if you're not pre-ordering the game and getting the game, you know, the early access to the game, you're getting the game on the 10th in Japan, which is like a day and a half before you would get the game in the US or Europe. However, if you get early access, we can see here, it says early access starts on the 8th of October. And if we take a look at early access for the Western for the Western version of the game releases on October 11th, and then early access gives you 3 days early access. So technically, the early access for the Western version of the game should start on the 8th. So I think what they're trying to do here is they're trying to sync the times that early access will, you know, be available to the Japanese game and the Western game. So I think if you purchase early access in the West and you purchase early access for the Japanese game, they should be available at the same time. So I don't think because I'm in Japan and I get the early access version, I don't actually think there's going to be like I guess a window of time where I can access the game before anyone else can. I think it's going to be at the same time, but we'll see. There's not like definitive confirmation on this yet, but I just wanted to point that out. The game is on the 10th here. The Steam version is for the 11th, so it looks like if you buy this is obviously only pertains to Japan. If you buy the game on the either the PlayStation or Xbox platforms, you're going to be able to play the game a day earlier than you would on Steam, which is interesting. So a few things here. I'm not going to go through everything, but just some highlights that I noticed when going through this. There is actually going to be up to 8 players in online multiplayer with the World Tournament mode. So I'm assuming you could join a World Tournament online and you could actually have like a legitimate tournament format, World Tournament format for online. That's pretty cool. So this is this wording is very bad because it says it basically just says local multiplayer, and it says like it says incompatible, but then as an asterisk here, it says up to 2 players can play in offline multiplayer versus. So to me, that sounds like there is going to be confirmed split screen versus in the game. But they also make it very vague by saying incompatible, so I'm not entirely sure. Maybe that just means that you can't play online with 2 players, I guess is what that's saying. But in offline multiplayer versus mode, you can play with another person. So sounds like split screen is going to be a thing with this game, which I know is something that a lot of people were looking forward to. That's good to see. For whatever reason, the PlayStation version of the game is like significantly bigger in size than the Xbox version or the Steam version. Steam is 33 gigabytes, Xbox is 38, and PlayStation is 56 for whatever. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I don't really know what this is. This word means compatibility, and it says no for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. I'm assuming what they mean by compatibility is this backwards compatible with like older versions of the consoles. Like, is it compatible with PlayStation 4 or like, you know, whatever the previous Xbox console was? Like, it says no. I mean, I'm assuming that's what this means, but I'm not entirely sure. Then this next one is, can you transfer save data? It says no for all of them. And then here's the big one. It says cross-platform compatibility. So it says incompatible for all 3 platforms for now. It says incompatible for now. What I would say about crossplay, because I think this is probably going to be one of the most important things to a lot of people about whether or not they want to purchase the game at the end of the day. The game can be the greatest game of all time. Like, this could potentially be, like, and I think there's actually a legitimate chance that this does happen. This could be considered by many people to be the single greatest Dragon Ball game ever released. Possibly. We'll see how it turns out. But it could be the greatest game ever, but if you're not going to be able to play with many people, it's not worth getting. I could definitely see a lot of people with that mindset. And so I think, in my opinion, crossplay is certainly going to be a very, very important factor for a lot of people, and, you know, whether or not they purchase the game or how long they play the game for. We'll see what they do with crossplay. There has been one other example in recent times of a Dragon Ball game that released without crossplay, but then they added crossplay later on because of how many people were asking for it, and that is Dragon Ball The Breakers. Dragon Ball The Breakers is a game that is essentially made to be played with other people, made to be played with friends. And the game released without crossplay, and people have been basically just spamming them that we need crossplay in this game over and over and over again. And for the first anniversary, they announced that they were working on crossplay, and it is now actually implemented in the game. About, I would say, a year and a half later, they implemented crossplay after the game first released. So there is no hope that they could put crossplay in, even if the game releases without crossplay functions. I think the best way to, I guess, advocate for crossplay is to give them a lot of feedback, post on social media, comment under their posts, we want crossplay, just bombard them with comments that we need crossplay in the game. That, I think, is going to be the best way to let them know, right? Again, for me, crossplay, I think, is a very important thing. I think what is probably the best mindset to have going into the launch of the game is to go in assuming that there is not going, unless they say otherwise, unless they make an announcement otherwise. It's completely possible that 2 months later from now, they could announce that the game is crossplay. It's possible. It's possible they just don't want to tell us yet, because that's going to be a separate announcement. But I think as of right now, I'm going to be under the assumption that crossplay is not in the game and will not be in the game on launch. And so for that reason, I'm probably going to end up getting the PlayStation version of the game, because PlayStation should have the biggest population of people playing the game. That's just the way it always is with these games. PlayStation always tends to have the biggest player base. And so if the game's not going to have crossplay, you ultimately, especially for me as a content creator, you're going to want to be playing the version of the game that has the biggest player base, because it's just gonna allow for ease of play. So just wanted to mention that. Now to go back to this, so again, we are going to be getting a mysterious 7th playable character as a pre-order bonus. Again, this is for any edition, even the base game. If you just buy the base game, you don't have to buy the collector's edition, you don't have to buy the deluxe edition, you don't have to buy the ultimate edition. You are going to be getting these Gogetas and Brolys and this mysterious 7th character. So here are my thoughts on this character. Obviously, we're not going to be able to tell who this is definitively at all. However, if you guys have been keeping up with the characters that have been revealed so far, mysteriously, there are 3 areas that have not even been mentioned. And there's 4 areas that have not been technically released or revealed yet. One of them is Daima, but we know that Daima's coming in DLC now, right? If we go back here, we know Daima's going to be included in DLC pack, either 1, 2, or 3, or all of them. And the same thing with Dragon Ball Super Superhero. So they have officially confirmed that Daima will be in the game, but they haven't officially revealed to us any Daima characters at all. So that's one thing. The next one is the big one, and it's GT. GT has not been shown to us in any form. GT is not shown to be coming in any DLC. We don't even know if GT's in the game at all, right? We have these pre-order packages with summoning Shenron, summoning Ultimate, summoning Super Shenron, but there's no like Ultimate Shenron or like Black Star Dragons or Baby or Super 17, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, none of that. So there's literally nothing with GT that's been revealed or even hinted at as of right now. So that's kind of on the table as well. We have not seen anything, I don't think, pertaining to Z movies. By Z movies, I mean like Lord Slug, Cooler, Z Broly, Bojack, Janemba, Hirudegarn, like those movies. We have, Beerus and Whis, which, I mean, they could either be from the Super anime or from Battle of Gods. Golden Frieza could be from Resurrection F. Obviously, we have Broly and Gogeta, but this is a Super movie. And we know superheroes coming, but it looks like that's going to be more so for the DLC, the first 3 DLC packs. But we have seen 0 information about the Z movies. There is kind of a hint, though, because for Gogeta in particular, this version of Gogeta from Dragon Ball Super Broly, they have labeled him as Gogeta parentheses Super. So that tells me that there's probably going to be, the Gogeta from either GT, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, or Super Gogeta from Fusion Reborn. I mean, there's probably going to, at some point, there's going to be both of them in the game for sure. We just don't know when they're going to be releasing, but there's no mentions of any Z movie characters. And the last thing is OG Dragon Ball. They have shown nothing with OG Dragon Ball. I guess you could kind of make the argument that Roshi is OG Dragon Ball, but you could literally pull Roshi from any part of Dragon Ball Z. You could pull him from Super. The Roshi they showed is not from Super, but you could say that Roshi is from like the Saiyan Saga or something, right? Roshi is kind of pretty consistent in terms of his design all the way through Z up until Super. He kind of stays the same. But we've essentially seen nothing from OG Dragon Ball. We haven't seen Demon King Piccolo. We haven't seen Kid Krillin. We haven't seen Kid Goku. We haven't seen Mercenary Tao. We haven't seen General Blue. We haven't seen Tien. We haven't seen Yamcha. And like no characters from OG Dragon Ball have been revealed yet so far. So I'm thinking the reason why they're putting this as a question mark character is because they haven't revealed that whatever movie or saga this character is from, that has not been confirmed to be part of the game yet. At least that's my thought process. So if I had to guess as to what this character is going to be, I think it's probably going to be something from GT or something from Daima. And if I had to pick between one of those two things, I would probably lean a little bit more towards Daima, just because this game releasing in October is literally right as Daima is beginning. That's when Daima is supposed to start. It's supposed to start in October. So I think what this last character is going to be is I think they will be a new character from Daima that they literally cannot legally show us yet. That's what I'm thinking this character is going to be. Again, could be completely wrong, but based off of how they've been handling the reveals so far, I think that's what it's going to be. Something from Daima that they cannot show us yet because the character either hasn't been revealed yet or because they haven't gotten the rights to show us that yet. So let me know what you guys think of everything we know so far about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. A lot of new information today. Just wanted to go through all of this so you guys were all on the same page. If you are planning on buying the game, let me know 2 things. Number 1, what console or I guess what platform are you getting the game on? Is it going to be PlayStation, Xbox, or Steam? And what edition of the game are you going to be getting? Are you going to be getting the collector's edition, the hard copy edition, or are you going to be getting one of the digital versions, the deluxe edition, ultimate version, or just the base game? Let me know what you guys think about this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.